Hello YouTube. So it's been a very long time. I think it's been like a year or something crazy like that. But this video is a little bit different than the content I usually put up. So today's video is going to be about the struggle with my acne for the past 6 months and about spironolactone, which if you don't know what that is, I'll get into it later in the video. But basically, I've watched every YouTube video there is about spironolactone, which surprisingly really isn't that many, but I find them to be extremely helpful. I weighed out the pros and cons before going on it, and I just wanted to give my little take. This is like a 1-month update on it. So yeah, I figured maybe my experience might help someone, just as, you know, the other videos have helped me from other YouTubers. So I have everything written down, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, I mean, if you do follow me on Instagram, you know all of this already, but I have like all of these notes. So I do updates on my Instagram regarding my skin pretty frequently, but obviously if you don't follow me on Instagram, you don't know the background, so I'll put a little timestamp in the description if you want to just fast forward to my spironolactone experience thus far. But if you're new, then I would suggest sticking around, because maybe you can resonate with this if you're struggling with adult acne. So for my whole life, basically, I never had acne. I had the occasional breakout in high school, but it was very minimal. And then after high school, I pretty much had no breakouts whatsoever. I used to get a little bit of like congestion, like a little bit of texture, like whiteheads and stuff, but never any like pustules or like papules or whatever. Definitely no cysts or anything like that. So in August, I started a medication, and I started breaking out right after that. So I thought it might have been linked to that, but I decided to stick it out because the medication was doing my body more good than harm. So I decided to just stick that out. So then after I started breaking out from that, keep in mind it wasn't severe. I'll insert some pictures and stuff and some videos because I've been documenting this ever since I started getting acne. So I'm going to insert pictures and videos and everything. So after I started breaking out, which was nothing like really crazy, I went on Curology. And Curology, I'm pretty sure my prescription was azelaic acid, niacinamide, and clindamycin. I don't remember like the percentages and all that, but that's what it was. And I used that for 9 weeks. I saw my skin progressively getting worse, but they say like it's a purging period and that you should wait it out and all that. So I did, but after 9 weeks I was like, okay, I shouldn't be purging anymore. Like my skin should be getting better. So I decided to go off of that. I also got off the medication in December, early December, that I thought was causing the acne. After that, after I ridded myself of the medication and the topical stuff, I tried using the ordinary glycolic acid and lactic acid. This kind of just like made me go through another purge. Then I started getting like big zits, like really big inflamed red. Still not cystic though, just, you know, regular acne. That didn't improve. Like I said, it was just getting a little bit worse. So I went to the dermatologist. Keep in mind, all of this is like a steady decline. Like my skin was just getting progressively worse and worse. So I went to the dermatologist, and at this point my acne is up to my forehead, and I have never broken out on my forehead. When I did used to get the occasional breakout, it was mainly around like my mouth and my chin, but never my forehead, never my cheeks. It was always just focused around here. So when I went in, my doctor prescribed me minocycline, which is an antibiotic. This is kind of controversial when it comes to acne. They say it's not good because it just is like a temporary fix. Like it just takes down the inflammation, and then like once you get off the antibiotic, the acne comes right back. Thankfully, I well, let me back up a little bit. So I was told to stop using all of the active ingredients when she prescribed me the minocycline. She told me to switch to the Vanicream Gentle Skin Cleanser, which I did. And then just to use that and antibiotics and non-comedogenic makeup, which whatever that means, because like non-comedogenic on a label means absolutely nothing. It's just a marketing gimmick. You really have to do your own research to see what ingredients are in the products and what you're sensitive to, because everybody is different. So thankfully I discontinued the minocycline after about a week because I just kept getting horrible migraines. I had called out of work twice in 1 week because I just felt terrible. And it was like I would go to bed with a migraine, wake up with it, and it lasted for 4 days straight. But a day after I stopped it, the migraines went away. So that was a big factor. I mean, I'm very prone to migraines as it is, so that was just terrible. I could not keep going with that. I didn't want to use antibiotics anyway because, like I said, usually the acne comes right back. It's not getting to like the root of the problem. It's just kind of masking it. So I called my dermatologist and I told her that I couldn't take the antibiotics anymore. So she said she couldn't help me and she passed me off to another doctor. I've heard that dermatologists really don't care if you have acne. Like, that's not what they're meant to do. Like, they mostly just are there about like skin cancer and, you know, like the important things, of course. But to be honest, acne is a very like serious thing, especially for people who have way more severe than I do. I'm not saying my acne is severe for me, but I wouldn't say that my acne is severe by any means. It's just a big change than what I'm used to. Usually, I mean, I've literally never had acne before in my life. So to go from not having it to all of a sudden, it's just like this steady decline over a course of 6 months. It's kind of like, it's just kind of a huge shock, and I don't even know how to deal with it because people have been dealing with acne their whole lives kind of know the ins and outs at this point, you know, if they've been struggling with it for 10 years or something like that. But I forgot to mention I'm almost 23, so they say that female hormonal adult acne hits around 22, 23 because it's your prime baby making age, and you know, your hormones kind of go out of whack. I've been on birth control for about 6 years, but I'm not on an oral pill. I'm on the NuvaRing, so it works a little bit differently. I know that estrogen or something like that and Yaz and the ortho pills are supposed to help with, you know, hormones and all that, hormonal acne, I mean. But yeah, the NuvaRing is a little bit different in the way that it works. So anyway, she wanted to switch me off to another doctor because she couldn't help me. So I was really taken aback by that. They passed me off to another doctor, but I just canceled my appointment altogether and found another doctor at a totally different practice because I was really disgusted with how they treated me. So I found a physician's assistant in dermatology a couple towns over. And so when I went in there, she seemed to really listen to me. I had like a 45-minute appointment with her. She really listened to all my concerns, what I've been doing. She said that I was pretty educated on skincare in regards to like what I was trying with the active ingredients, and even though that wasn't working. So she told me, well, she prescribed me Tazarotene. So that's a retinol or a retinoid. I'm not sure of the difference, to be honest. But she prescribed me the highest strength, which is kind of crazy. I've never heard of anybody getting prescribed the 0.1%. But I didn't really know anything about that at that time until I went home and like researched it. And then she gave me Dapsone, which the brand name is Axone. So Dapsone is like a topical antibiotic and anti-inflammatory. So she told me to do the Dapsone in the morning and the retinol at night, and at first only do 2 times a week with the retinol and add frequency the next weeks as your skin adjusts. So for example, the first week do 2 times a week, the second week do 3 times a week, and thus, you know, and so on. And I got to a point where I was able to do it every other night, but the peeling was so intense and so uncomfortable that if I wore makeup, my skin would peel off and my face would just feel tight all the time, no matter how much I moisturized. So that was really frustrating. And so also around this time, I went to an endocrinologist. to get my hormones checked out because I was having a really hard time losing weight. I still am. I've been weight training and doing cardio. Well, I only recently added in the cardio, but I've been weight training for about 3 months now, consistently, like 4 to 5 times a week. I think last week was the first time I'd gone in 3 months. I mean, like only twice a week I went, and that was the first week since I started, and so far I've only lost 5 pounds in 3 months, which is crazy because I know I've been in a caloric deficit, and I track everything that I eat. So I went and got my cortisol, my hormones, all of those, and everything came back normal, which is a good thing, I guess, but at the same time it's a little bit frustrating because I still don't have the answers, and yeah, it's kind of like a bittersweet thing. But my hormones came back normal, my thyroid came back normal, everything like that. So I went back to the dermatologist after 6 weeks of being on the retinol and the dapsone, and I told her that I had gotten my hormones checked and everything came back normal, but she prescribed me spironolactone anyway because the majority of my acne is on my jawline and my cheeks. Keep in mind, I totally skipped this part, but I have never, ever, ever in my life, ever had acne up here. Never. It's always been pretty much like in this kind of box, like in the front of my face. Never had it on my cheeks. I also don't have like an overgrowth of hair or anything. I got tested for PCOS. I don't have that. So it's a little bit confusing why spironolactone might work for me because I don't really have any of the symptoms that would indicate a hormonal imbalance.
Hi, so this is me editing. I just realized I never really explained what spironolactone is for people who don't really know. So spironolactone is basically an anti-androgen for women, so it stops the excess production of male hormones such as testosterone, which is typically the cause for hormonal acne along the jawline and cheeks. So that's why I brought up excess male pattern hair growth, is because normally when women have a hormonal imbalance with too much testosterone, they have an overgrowth of hair where men typically would. So I don't have any of those symptoms. That's why I bring it up. It's particularly good in women with PCOS because they normally have a hormonal imbalance, which is why spironolactone helps even it out. But yeah, so that's what spironolactone does.
But the only thing that I can think of being this age and getting acne is hormonal. So, so she prescribed me spironolactone anyway. She said that my hormones don't have to be spiked crazy high on a test for there to be an imbalance. So she started me on 25 milligrams for the first week and then 50 milligrams the second week and beyond. So I'm still on 50 milligrams. It's been 4 weeks. She also prescribed me a sulfur face wash as well. So as you can see, my forehead is completely clear. And I know for sure that the sulfur did that. Now, I'll tell you why. So like I mentioned before, I've been training for about 3 months. I started breaking out on my forehead in the beginning of December, which is when I started my weight training program. I think it was because I was wearing hats to the gym and I was using that Vanicream cleanser, but that's not an antibacterial cleanser. It's a very, very gentle cleanser. I think this hormonal acne that I have on the lower half of my face is a lot different than the acne that I had on my forehead. I think the acne on my forehead, honestly, my skin just wasn't being cleansed enough. I think I needed an antibacterial such as like benzoyl peroxide or sulfur. So she gave me the sulfur wash. She told me not to use benzoyl peroxide because my face would be just super dry with the retinol. Started using the sulfur wash and within a week my forehead had cleared up, and it's been about a month now and my forehead is still cleared. So I know that that's what did it. Okay, I just wish my whole face was that simple, which that leads me to believe also that it's hormonal, because hormonal acne is usually non-responsive to over-the-counter treatments because it comes from within. It's internal. But my skin also, like, spironolactone is meant to decrease oil production. My skin is very normal. Like, it's not oily. It's not an, I don't have oily skin. It's very, very normal. So I'm just a little, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out in the next couple of months. But anyway, so after she prescribed me the sulfur face wash, a couple weeks went by and I was like, hey, let me just try adding in benzoyl peroxide. Even though it was against what she recommended, I was just like, whatever. So I know that you have to be careful with benzoyl peroxide and retinol, because if you use them together, your skin can actually be dyed yellow. So I use them at completely separate times. So basically I would wash my face in the morning with Vanicream, and then I would go to the gym, and then I would use benzoyl peroxide when I got home from the gym to wash off the sweat and dirt and all that grime, because benzoyl peroxide is an antibacterial as well. I leave that on there for a couple of minutes, and then I rinse my face off, and it's been working really well. And then I use the sulfur face wash at night. So I do wash my skin 3 times a day, but that's only if I'm going to the gym. Like, if I'm not going to the gym, I'll only wash it twice a day, but I think it's very necessary for me to wash it 3 times a day. I know that seems like a lot. And sometimes if I'm going to the gym in the morning, I'll skip the Vanicream in the morning and just, you know, but most of the time I go midday, so it's important for me to wash it 3 times a day. Like, for example, what time is it? It's 12 o'clock right now. I woke up at 9 and I washed my face this morning. And I'm gonna go to the gym right after I film this video, and then I'll wash it again once I get home. Once I added in the benzoyl peroxide, I cut back on my retinol to twice a week, because I mentioned before the peeling was so intense, and just so much from it being the highest strength that she just put me on, that it just got to be too much. So I cut back to twice a week just to reap the anti-aging benefits. I do want to stick with retinol long term, because I mean, you can see people that have used it for 20 years and they look like they're literally 30 years old. Like, they look amazing. So I want to keep using that, but it really did nothing for my acne. Another very important thing, this leads me to the end of the video, a very important thing that I think it's important to bring to your attention is, on Spiro, I had never had cystic acne, and then as soon as I started it, the only acne I get now is cystic. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I saw a video of this girl on YouTube where her skin was, she ended up going on Accutane, but she had never had cystic acne before she went on Spiro, and the only acne she got after starting it was cystic, which is like so weird. I don't know. I don't know if that's like a bad sign. I'm gonna talk to my dermatologist about it, but I'm also scared to say anything to her because I want her to up my dose. I'm going back tomorrow for my 4-week follow-up, but I want her to up me to 100 milligrams because 50 milligrams seems really low. I've read so many reviews on drug websites and all the videos. I mean, like, I have researched this till I'm blue in the face. Like, it seems that 100 milligrams is the sweet spot, and that's when people start really seeing results and stuff. I know that it takes about 3 to 6 months to fully see the results of Spiro, but I'm gonna give you guys a little close-up of my skin right now. Really, the only big one is this, and it just looks really mean and big, and I don't really care about showing people my acne. It's a little bit more scary to go out in public than it is to like show a camera. I mean, I show my skin on Instagram like all the time, but here's my skin. A lot of this, oh, I also forgot to mention, I get facials now. I get microdermabrasion medical facials at my dermatologist's office. I've gone for 2 so far. So the first one I went to, I saw like a difference in my congestion for sure. Then the second one I went 2 weeks later, I didn't see that much the last one I got, because I've only gotten 2 so far. I really didn't see that much of an improvement. And then I go again next week, so that's 3 weeks apart. But I've noticed a lot of congestion coming back. I have a lot of blackheads over here. Like, this is pretty much just texture and blackheads and scarring. So the next thing I have to tackle once all these active breakouts, because really the only active breakout that I have Like, these are cysts under the skin, but they're not painful. Like, they're going away. Like, I've had them for weeks. This is the only, this one is the only active one that I have. The rest is just really gnarly scarring, which is so sad, because if you guys go back in my videos, I mean, you'll see I had no acne whatsoever, except for the occasional like breakout or whatever, but it's just like a complete 180 from where I was, and oh, it's just crazy. So anyway, back to the close-up. So this is all pretty much scarring and texture. Forehead looks good. That's scarring from when I had breakouts, but to be honest, I think my forehead looks really great. Like, I barely even put concealer on that because I don't care. This is the bad side of my face. This is the really rough, this is the painful side. Chin doesn't really break out too much. It's mostly just cheeks now, which is kind of crazy. Never had that before. I wish I would have done like a video. I mean, I do have videos on my phone and stuff before starting Spiro, but like, I wish I would have done like an HD up close video like this just to compare. But yeah, I mean, that's what's going on right now, and I hope this helps people. I mean, I don't know of anybody else that's only gotten cystic acne after starting Spiro. Like, why would it change it? I don't know. I'm gonna talk to her about it though tomorrow and see what she says, and I'll update you guys. Obviously, I'm gonna do these videos every month just to track my own progress, because I love watching the transformations. Like, I always watch people's 1 month, and then I go to like their 6 month, and their skin is just like beautiful, and might not be perfect, but it's close to. But I made a promise to myself, and I'm going to cut this short because I know that I've been rambling for 21 minutes so far. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to edit this down. I honestly wasn't even going to edit it, but the only reason I'm doing this right now, right, is to see if it's hormonal. If it's not hormonal and this doesn't work in 3 months, which brings me to summer, right after summer's over, I'm going to Accutane, baby, because I'm not dealing with scarring anymore. I'm not doing it. If this doesn't get better with Spiro, I'm going on to Accutane right after the summer's over, because I'm not trying to get a burn. I'm a Leo baby. I'm a summer baby. I can't be trapped inside and hiding from the sun while on Accutane. So the second September hits, I'm doing Accutane. But hopefully this works, because I don't mind being on a pill for the rest of my life. Maybe not the rest of my life, but for the next 10 years or so, you know what I mean? Like, well, can't do that. Whenever I choose to have a kid, okay, that's when I'll get off. I don't really mind being on a pill. So thank you so much for watching and listening to my journey, because this has been a very frustrating one, and I'm smiling about it now, but there have been many tears, because it's a very it's very like daunting and like draining disease to have. I mean, acne is a disease, so especially after never dealing with it before, it's definitely been a wake-up call, and I should have been way more thankful for my clear skin when I had it. So I will see you guys in a month, and I will show you guys how my skin looks, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.